All right, page 2 of the practice exam number 1. Get this thing in focus. And let's see how far we can get here. Domain and range. All right, domain is all the possible x values. We want farthest to the left first. Farthest to the left is this open dot. It's at -6. So -6 open dot means we use a parenthesis. And the farthest to the right is an arrow. Arrow continues to the right forever. That would be an infinity, and all infinities are parentheses because we don't include them. So if we're trying to find that answer in all of this madness down here, I see D. So 10 would be D if we were bubbling. Range is Y values. We start with the lowest, we get to the highest. Lowest place here is this open dot. It's also at -6. And an open dot means a parenthesis. Now, I kind of failed in this problem here. I should have provided the asymptote so you can assume that it's flattening off. I'm going to squeeze it in there now. Hopefully you recognize that. That's trying to flatten off. So I'm going to put the asymptote in there if I wanted you so you don't have to ask during a test, hey, does that continue to go up or is that flattening off? The asymptote tells you that. So this graph is flattening off, headed towards this asymptote at 4, but it never gets to that 4, so it would be a parenthesis there. So -6 to 4, both with parentheses. Looks like AD, huh? AD. All right, 12. Domain is x values. Farthest to the left is that -6. That's a solid dot. I wrote 2. That's funny. And because it's a solid dot, we're going to use a bracket. And the farthest to the right is an arrow and continues to go to the right forever. That would be an infinity with a parenthesis. So -6 with a bracket, and infinity looks like B to me, B. And then the range, lowest place in this graph is right there. That's at -6. And a solid line is just like a solid dot. It hits it. So -6 hits. The highest place in this graph, be careful. Don't think that it's 2. If you think it's 2, you'll see some answers that have a 2 in it. That's a trap. The arrow continues to go up, 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 up forever. And because it continues to go up forever, that's infinity. And we have identical answers. So we already know the answer is B for that one. Coincidence. All right, let's head down to some factoring. So this one says find a factor, and that's a weird direction. That means you're not going to find the complete factor. You just have to find one of the binomials that's in that answer, if you can. Now, I don't use generic rectangles. I know a lot of you do. It's totally fine. 3x squared here, I know I'm looking at a 3x and an x. To get that 3x squared, these last numbers have to multiply to be an 8. So I've got a 1 and an 8 and a 2 and a 4 as my choice. And I need to make a -10 from combining the outsides with the insides. So I'm going to throw this 4 here because I can see, ooh, that's 12. And if I put a 2 here, that's a 2. So with a 12x and the 2x, I can make a -10. If the 12 were negative, the 2 were positive, and that's it. That is this guy factored. And then I go see which one of those is down there. Hopefully only one of them is, because then it'd be kind of a contradiction. And if I slide down there, I can see x minus 4 is down there. It's AD, AD. And there shouldn't be a 3x plus 2, which there isn't. All right, let's slide over here to 15. 15 is evil because of that 6x squared, because we don't know whether it's 6x and an x with a 3x and a 2x is another possibility. Okay, 15 has to go at the end, so 1 and 15 and 3 and 5. And it's a matter of guessing because we don't have any shortcuts. A lot of times 6 will have, you can't put an even number there, you can't put a multiple of 3 there. So if you started with 6x, you can't put the 3 or the 15 right there. And that's a route you could go. But I'm going to start with the 3x and the 2x just because. 3 and a 5. I can't put a 3 next to a 3, so let's start with the 5 there and the 3 there. See what we get. If we don't, we're going to bust out the trusty eraser. Let's see, that's a 9 on the outside and a 10 on the inside. And with a 9 and a 10, can we make a 13? Absolutely not. So the only other choice we have now is the 1 and the 15, Can't put a 15 next to a 3, so I'll put the 1 there and the 15 there, and I'm looking at, 45 on the outside and 2 on the inside. So 3x and 2x was a bad choice. Bad choice, Mr. Reader. So 6x and x is what it's got to be. If I start with 3 and 5, I can't put a 3 next to a 6, but I can put a 5 there. Let's see how that works out. 6x and 3, that's 18. I'll write that over here. 5 and x is 5 with an 18 and a 5x. Can you make a 13? You bet, if the 5 were negative. So I'll go into my equation, make my 5 negative, make my 3 positive, which created the 18. And we're there. 6x minus 5 and an x plus 3. What do we have down below? X plus 3 is e. Okay. 16. This is our first time we've got to pull something out. What do these three terms have in common? 8 and 60 and 32. I would say a 4. And they each have an x, and they each have a y. So I'm going to pull that out first, make this problem smaller. Minus 8. And then bring down what we pulled out, but let's continue to factor now this part. 2x and x to get the 2x squared. For an 8, we got a 1 and an 8 and a 2 and a 4, and you're not allowed to put an even number next to a 2. So I only have one number to try, and that's the 1 and the 8. On the outside, I have 16. On the inside, I have a 1. I need to make negative 15, so let's make that 16 negative. We'll make the 1 positive. Now it adds to negative 15, and we're there. So there's no 4xy down below. Now I'm looking for either 2x plus 1, which I don't see. See if I can find an x minus 8. There's x minus 8, ABC. ABC. Okay. Onward. 4x squared, 36, 45. Do those things have any common? No, 4x squared is evil because we've got two choices. But here's what I know. I could do 4x and x, but you can't put an even number next to 4. I could do 2x and 2x, and the only way you can do 2x and 2x is if both of these numbers were odds. But look at that 45. 1 and 45, 3 and 15, 5 and 9. All 6 of those numbers are odds. So I just have a hunch it's 2x and 2x, since the rule is you can only put odd numbers next to 2's, and all of these are odds. That's what I would have tried first. In fact, some of this stuff you can do in your head, because these are 2's. If you put a 5 there and a 9 there, let's see if we can do it without writing anything down. A 5 there would give us a 10x in the middle. A 9 there would give us an 18x. With a 10x and an 18x, can we make it 36? No. I might have gone too fast there. That's okay. Let's try 3 and 15, because I can see on the outsides I have a 30, and the insides I have a 6. Well, with a 30 and a 6, I can make a 36, but I need to make negative 36, so let's make both of these negative. That'll still give us positive 45 at the end, which is great. And now we will look for one of these two answers, which I see right there, 2x minus 3, ABE. ABE. All right, that took 8 minutes. Let's call it quits right there and make another video for page number 3.